Hello, I'm Ken Clay, and welcome to Black Is. Today we'll be talking to a man who is undoubtedly one of the most courageous and influential black men in history. A man whose opinions and beliefs caused him to lose favor in the eyesight of many, but whose commitment to these beliefs gained for him even greater respect. He's a man who saw his crown taken away simply because he refused to compromise his principles. And today we invite you to join us for a Black Is special, Conversation with Muhammad Ali. Coming up right after this. Muhammad Ali, some 20 years ago, you started your fighting career here in Louisville as an amateur. Then you went on to become the Olympics champion, and then you fought for the heavyweight title of the world with Sonny Liston, a man you call the Big Bear. How did you feel on that night of that fight when you went into the ring with this man who had knocked out a number of people prior to coming to you?
Well, he was a lot stronger than I was, more experienced, but I was relying on my speed, which proved later to be the truth, and in the end, that's what pulled me through. But I was real nervous, mainly because I was talking so much and made so many predictions. I put myself on the spot, and I had to really fight. So that pulled me through. The fifth round, I got some liniment. His shoulders started hurting him. He pulled a muscle or something. They put some wintergreen, some liniment on him, and through the sweat and trading punches, it got in my eyes, and I wanted to quit, but my trainer, Angelo Nundy, pushed me back out and forced me to go in there. I'm glad that he did, but that's how I felt generally in that fight, nervous.
Mm-hmm. You've often been called certain names. The Louisville Lip, I think, was one of the original ones, the loquacious one. You've often said things about your opponents that have antagonized them. Do you felt like this gave you some kind of psychological edge going into the fight?
Well, this helped promote my fights. The boasting, the talking, I'm the greatest, showing the confidence is something that most people want to express. And they really don't know how they're frightful. Some people envy you for doing it, and some admire you for it. So whatever reason they came, then we had all type problems with draft, with religion, and all this stuff helped draw people. I wrote something once that more clearly explains what I'm talking about. It says, "The man who has no imagination stands on the earth. He has no wings, he cannot fly." So having an imagination, you have to have an imagination. The Wright brothers had an imagination. Columbus had an imagination. The men who went to the moon had an imagination. And I use my imagination to help publicize things.
Of course, you did what we think was the most courageous thing, and that is refusing to go to the war. But as a result of this, your title was stripped from you. And how did you feel as a man who had very much deserved that title and had earned that title, having someone come in and say, because you don't do something here, we're going to take that title away from you?
Well, I couldn't blame the establishment at that time because here's a black man watched by the whole world, and which many youth follow. He set this type of example and don't go to the draft. Well, they figure this might make others do it. So they have to condemn me or railroad me, as you say, to put fear into others. But I didn't weaken, and I believed. And I can't blame, if I was black and I owned this country and we were in power and we had white people in the condition that we're in, and a little white boy starts saying, I'm not going to do this or do that, I would have to give him a spanking. I can't let my children run around my house and eat what they want and break things and run around and say, you quit that, she keep on. And if I don't spank her, she'll never respect me. So police officer, you're doing 100 miles an hour on the highway and you pull over and you get out of the car busting, running your mouth and bully, and he's the man, and you got to respect him. So a man of power, being humiliated in such a way, he's got to make some effort to spank you for it, to let others know that they can't do it. So I expected that, because for what I believe and what America represents, I was wrong. But I recognize them for doing what they thought was right at the time. It's just bad that they didn't recognize me for being serious in what I believe at the time. So that's all over, and I get along with everybody now, and I don't think about it.
Early in your professional career, you joined the ranks of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and became a black Muslim. What happened at the time of your decision? Why did you decide to join?
Well, I like to say we don't call ourselves black Muslims. It's a press word. We have white Muslims, have brown Muslims, yellow Muslims, red Muslims. Muslim only means one who submits entirely to God's will. And Islam, the religion, means peace. For an example, Muslims In Egypt, that's a Muslim country. These are Muslim countries I want to name. Pakistan, Syria, Lebanon, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Indonesia, all Ghana, Zambia, Tehran, Iran, the whole world mostly is Muslim. And what got me is when I went to a religious meeting in Miami, Florida, and I heard the man saying, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us this, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that, and he said that we don't have a knowledge of ourselves, we don't have our names. For an example, if I said to come Chang Chong Lu Chen, you know it's a Chinaman. If I said to come Kosik and a cruise chef, you know it's a Russian. If I said to come Silver Moon, the Morning Star, you know it's an Indian. If I said to come Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Castro, you know it's a Cuban. If I said to come Mr. Clay and Mr. Jones, you don't know if he's black or white, you see him, because we were named Cassius Marcellus Clay. They talk about how I was named after this great white slave fighter. Names which identified us as property of our masters. But now that we are free, now that we no longer belong to white people, we should go on our own names. Louis Alcindor is one of them, a great man, changed his name to Kareem Jabbar. Joe Tex is now Yusuf Aziz. Walt Hazard is now Abdul Rahman, and many more. I cannot say black stars are going back into their own African history. So after I seen the works of Elijah Muhammad, how clean the Muslims were, how they don't drink, don't smoke, how they respect their women, and do for self, and getting a knowledge of self, and cleaning up self, and building for self, it made a lot of sense. And then the man told me that how we've been so brainwashed. We look at Jesus, we see a white man on the wall. We look at the Lord's Supper, we see all white people. We look at the angels, we see all white people. We look at Miss America, we see white, Miss Universe, Miss World, Tarzan, the King of Africa, he was white. We've been brainwashed. The White House cigars, the TV commercials, the White Swan soap, the King White soap, the White Cloud tissue paper, the Right Rain Harris, White Tawny, the Flowax. You got your angel food cake is white, your devil food cake is chocolate. Everything was made white and everything bad was black. The good cat, bad luck cat was the black cat, and the black sheep was the bad sheep, or the ugly duck was the black duck. Or if I threaten you, I'm going to blackmail you. Or if you put out a fraternity, you get blackballed. And then I heard the man say, black is not bad. Want a strong cup of coffee? Want a black cup of coffee? The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. He turned it around. This is not racism talk. It's just plain facts. Rich soil is black soil. And you take, before God created the heavens and the earth, the book said everything was covered in darkness. And then he said, let there be light. Black was here before God started creating. So after hearing this, it gave me more pride. And I felt proud. And I started saying, I am the greatest. And this is how I came into the faith. And ever since I've been following Elijah Muhammad, I can lecture now throughout the world. I'm respected in every nation. And I could talk for hours on this show. We don't have the time. I'm giving a lecture tonight. And I have so much wisdom now that I'm a Muslim and not in Christianity. There is a God, don't get me wrong, there is a God. I'm not defending Christians, but I've been taught that the proper name of God is Allah. Like black people don't know their names, don't know their language. Ask the man, who are you? He said, I'm a Negro. Well, Chinese are named after China, Cubans are named after Cuba, Puerto Ricans are named after Puerto Rico, Germans are named after Germany, Russians are named after Russia, Hawaiians after Hawaii. What country named Negroes? Everybody named after land. And I'm not crazy. If anybody watching this show want to challenge what I'm saying, I'll pay $10,000 cash. I'll pay $100,000 cash if you can prove one thing wrong I'm saying. I couldn't get on TV and say, prove what I'm saying that the preacher taught me wrong. I'll be proven wrong in a minute now that I see. But so I'm just this because it's true. Black people should clean themselves up, respect themselves, help themselves, respect their women, and go do for themselves and quit begging and make jobs for themselves and have a nation like other people have a nation. We need a nation. We need a whole country. We got too many black people out of work, too many black people on dope, too many prostitutes. We need too many jobs. Ain't enough jobs for white people don't have jobs. We need a country. Everybody's got a land but us. We need some land that we can call on. Now that we're not slaves, we're not needed to pick the cotton, we're not needed for this and that. We done fought in all the wars. We should be given a piece of, repaid a piece of territory where we can now build and govern. Black people are doctors, they're lawyers, they're mechanics, they can build, they can do anything. So we just believe we should come and do for ourselves. And all I'm saying is some of the teachings of the Muslim faith, and that's why I followed it, because I never heard this truth in the church or the schools.
Yeah, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has certainly put together what I consider to be the most effective program for black people in this country in terms of a movement, in terms of something in which, you know, blacks can dedicate themselves to. There's some very tangible results with the black Muslims, for example. You mentioned something about the way the women in the Muslim faith are treated. Could you talk about that?
I was mentioning that a nation is no greater than its females. Where there are no decent women, there are no decent men. The woman is man's field, which produces nation. If he don't protect his field, he'll produce a bad nation. Take a farmer. He'll go out and spray poisons and chemicals on his cabbage, his beans, his corn, looking to kill any worm or any insect that he finds seeking to destroy his crop. We put scarecrows up in our fields to frighten the enemies away from our fields. We shoot one another for stealing the other one's crop. How much more important is our wives and our mothers and our sisters and our daughters than our cabbage, beans, and corns when she's the field which produces our sons and daughters? And when I heard this, tears came to my eyes because I see black women. I travel the country throughout the world, and all our sisters, men are not men today. They can't rely on for jobs. We've been made such. We're not a man now. That's why we're called boys. And the sisters have to get on the streets to work. Prostitutes throughout the country, the major cities, 90% are black. And as long as our women can walk the streets, any man can come to the room, we'll never be respected until we respect our women, till we clean up ourselves, till we look after our mothers. After all, our first lesson comes from a woman. Our first nurse is a woman. Our mother is our first teacher. And if we don't respect and elevate and protect our mother, we'll never be nothing. I had to join the Muslim faith because they're the only ones who teach the truth. And I believe God is love. I believe God is truth. And the Bible says in the last days when the truth comes, it'll be so plain that the fool won't error. Now here's a man named Elijah Muhammad with a controversial group called the Black Muslims. This is his teachings. And it's so plain that even a fool won't error. The Bible said this truth was coming. And it mentioned Elijah in the Malachi. In the back of the Bible, it says, behold, in the last days I send you Elijah the prophet. He'll turn the hearts of the brothers to brothers and sisters to sisters. We're now thinking about Africa. This is through Muslim teaching. I want to come to Louisville and help my people. When a man get in my shoes, he marry white women. You can't pay black people to go and do this. I know Diana Ross. I know Leslie Uggams. These people are not black no more. I know Sidney Poitier and Jim Brown and all these people. Hate to call the names, but it's time for truth today. When our people get in the millions and big TV shows like yours, but nationwide TV shows, they no longer think black. And I'm honored that you would even ask me questions and give me a chance to explain to our people, not to be violent, not to hate white people, but get out and do for yourself. Clean up yourself, make jobs for yourself, respect your women, and get a knowledge of yourself.
Right.
That's all.
I agree with that 100%. What about your lifestyle, Muhammad? I know that some, big entertainers or some professional fighters, for example, are dressed very flashy, very ostentatious, but every time we see you, you're dressed, very neatly in a suit, usually with a tie.
Yeah, they just flashy like you, man. No, well, I tell you what, usually, like, I don't know, I look better, I gain weight easier. A nice, dark, conservative suit. You can go to the White House today, or I could go to a nightclub, or I could go to a religious place. You can go anywhere in a nice suit. And most people you see, bank officials or lawyers or congressmen or people, once you reach a certain wisdom, they wear suits and ties. But all the little purple shirts and the pink shoes and all this stuff, you go through that stage when you're young. But this is easy. I can bring one suit with me and go somewhere and stay 5 days and just get it pressed and put a new shirt in town every day. I'm dressed up.
Being the national figure as you are, and speaking among many youth groups, I'm sure, what is it you try to communicate, to your audience when you're speaking?
Well, you got different type lectures. I have a lecture called The Art of Personality. It means that we must know how to use this in all walks of life. Mainly a traveling man. If I got an all-white audience, I talk on certain subjects befitting to the crowd. If I have an all-black audience, it's a family-like discussion. Most time when I talk to youth, mainly our youth, I try to tell them to find their purpose in life. Every living being, I have a lecture called The Purpose of Life. Every living being was born to accomplish a purpose, and it is the knowing of that purpose that enables every soul to fulfill it. A wise man is he who knows his life purpose. 10 men with the knowledge of the purpose of their lives are more powerful than 1,000 working from morning until night who don't know. Like trees have a purpose. Everything God created has a purpose. The rain has a purpose. Buzzards have a purpose. The hog has a purpose. Termites has a purpose. Everything God created has a purpose. And by us being made in his own image, he thought a lot of us, we made like him. Now, we have a purpose too. But what is your purpose? I tell these youth to find their purpose while they're young, because life is short. If a man's 50 years old, add up all the 7, 8 hours you slept for 50 years, you probably slept 10 years of your life, just sleeping. Add up all the time you spent in school from the 1st grade to 12th grade, 6 hours a day for 12 years, probably 3 years in the school. Add up all the time it took to travel and go home from school to come back to school. So if you check it out, life is so short. Find out whether it's a doctor, whether it's a lawyer, learn to read, learn to write, get a good education. I didn't do it in school. I'm lucky to make the money to pay the lawyers to watch the lawyers. But I don't read like I should, I don't spell like I should, because I was in Central High School. I was a bully. I used this to get me through. But I should have got my brains ready. Everybody can't make it like me. I'm talking fast because you don't have much time. Just, I try to tell them to do all they can to be something in life, work for themselves and get a trade and work on it and believe. Don't try to be a fighter or a basketball player, because it's possible you won't make it odds against you. Very few Muhammad Ali's or James Browns or Sidney Poitier's, but they all can develop their minds and be something in life.
Okay. We'll be back in a moment with more of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad, what about this fight coming up between you and George Foreman?
No problem.
No problem?
No problem. He's too slow. Somebody said, you better watch George Foreman. Now you getting on my subject. Because he hits awful hard. I told him hitting hard means nothing if he can't find nothing to hit. Somebody said George Foreman is awful strong. I said he should try band roll on.
Muhammad, do you think you're still fast enough to stay away from that punch that he throws?
I was in my hotel last night and I hit the switch in the room and I was in the bed before the room was dark. Am I fast? I hit you before God get the news. Am I fast? I'm too fast for George Foreman. He hits hard, but Joe Frazier and Ken Norton, the ones he hit, were frightened. They didn't have no footwork. They didn't let him get tired first. All humans get tired, especially big old men like him. And he's never heard the man say, round 5 lately. It's always over in 2 rounds. It'd be strange to him to hear the man say, round 9, round 11, and the jabs are going to pop. Put the camera on you. Pop, 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 pop. Every round. Pop, 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 pop. Fake it over here. No. Pop, 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 pop. You look like Joe Frazier. I might hit you anyway.
How serious are you about this fight? How much does it really mean to you? Because, you know, this is the heavyweight championship again.
Yes, I'm serious.
This is your chance to get it back.
I got it. Okay. He's mine. I'm ready. There'll be no clowning. I'll be serious like it was in the second Ken Norton fight. The second Joe Frazier fight. No contest. Joe Frazier was all puffed up. 3 years have gone by. He's younger than I am. But Joe Frazier's eyes was closed, his jaws was big, and Muhammad Ali was still golden and smooth. Is this show in color?
Oh, yes, so definitely.
Well, then they see what I'm talking about.
Are you going to make any predictions in terms of a round or anything on this?
I just wrote a little quick poem, how the fight
I was going to ask you about some of your poetry.
How the fight sound over radio. Ali comes out to meet George Foreman, but George starts to retreat. If Foreman goes back an inch farther, he'll wind up in a ringside seat. Ali swings to the left, Ali swings to the right. Look at Ali carry the fight. Foreman keeps backing, but there's not enough room. It's a matter of time. There Ali lowers the boom. Now Ali lands to the right with a beautiful swing, and the punch lifts George clean out of the ring. George,
he's long gone.
George Foreman is still rising, but the referee wears a frown, for he can't start counting till George comes down. Now George Foreman disappears from view. The crowd is getting frantic, but our radar stations have picked him up. He's somewhere over the Atlantic. Who would have thought when they came to the fight that they witnessed the launching of a spook satellite? I mean, a soul brother satellite.
Oh, after this fight, Muhammad, what are you going to do? Are you going to retire? Are you going to keep fighting, or have you decided?
No, man. I'm 32 years old, and I haven't had too many setbacks, and I'm still on top, but time's telling me it's time to leave this. I want to just really do all I can to help the black people with their little struggles. We got problems that only we can solve. We got problems that only we can solve. And I like to travel throughout the country. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our religious mosques, temples are throughout the country. We have meeting places where Friday nights at 8 o'clock we have meetings. People want to hear more of this. We got Muslims somewhere in Louisville. They have a place where they meet. I have the Muhammad Speak newspapers. You see them on the streets. I want to help unite our people and bring respect to our women. And once we become one, then we can think about integration, if there is integration. How can we integrate when we are not one? It takes one to be with one. We are not one. See, Castro represents Cuba. Nixon represents America. Sadat represents Egypt. Ibn who represents Israel. But when we have a meeting, 50 leaders show up representing the black people. See, once we become one, then we can join on to something else. So we need to clean up ourselves. We need to clean our own neighborhoods and not force ourselves into white neighborhoods because they look nicer, but make our neighborhoods clean. We need to respect and protect our women. We need to take our women off the streets and let them be in the house working and raising children and not out every man patting on them and using them. And once we do this, we'll be free. So this is my job, to take all of this fame and glory I have and help my little black people in the mud who've never heard the truth to have a chance to hear the truth, because they can't get the truth in many churches. They can't get the truth in the civil rights movements, nor in the libraries. I mean cold, real truth that black people need, that even white people don't even teach it, because it's not their job. So it's our job to teach and help our own. So I want to take all I can to go around after I'm through fighting and try to help. Not make no movies kissing on blondes, not promoting some whiskey or cigarettes because I can get rich, but use my fame in bringing the people together, showing them they can make it because I made it, and you can be something. We all brothers, we look alike, so here's how you go about it, and then start telling them.
In order to do what you said, what does it take? What's necessary for black people to do, Muhammad, in order to build this unity?
Well, what we need mainly, number one, is promotion and letting the people know where they can come. Well, the Muslims, I think it's the 28th and the Muslim meeting place on 28th and Dumannell. Friday nights at 8 o'clock, Wednesdays 8 and Sundays at 2. We got little ministers there. They scuffling. They don't have money. They trying to teach the people the truth. I want to say Muslims don't hate nobody. We got an image of hating white people. We don't hate nobody. It's a different than knowing somebody and hating them. If a rattlesnake came in this TV studio now, I'd beat you getting out. I don't hate snakes. I know I can't get along with the snake. I'm not going to force myself on the snake. We integrate. Nobody integrate no more than me. We got to be together to make it. But at the same time, we shouldn't be looking to take other people's women. We should marry our own women. We should have our own children. We should do business with everybody, but we should make romance with each other. We think this is where we go too far when we start chasing other people's daughters and spotting up the family. No intelligent white woman watching this show, no intelligent white man in his or her right white mind want black boys marrying their white sons and daughters and in return introducing their grandchildren as half-brown, kinky-head Negroes. I'll speak for the white people. I know they don't want it. That's why I'm a Muslim. We talk truth. Truth is what the world needs. Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and truth will make you free. He didn't say integration. Yeah. He didn't say open housing. He said truth. I don't hate nobody. I'm telling the truth. And no black man or black woman in his or her right black man want their sons marrying white girls and white boys and introducing their children as half blonde, blue-eyed, green-eyed Negroes. Every man loves a son that, oh, I got the prettiest boy. He look like me. And the daughters, Chinese like Chinese, the Indians like Indians, the bluebirds have bluebirds, the eagles have eagles. They all birds. The pigeons have pigeons. The buzzards have buzzards. They all birds, but they got different hangouts. White people play their kind of music. We play our music. They dance their dance. We dance our dance. A Chinese wouldn't be comfortable eating downtown Louisville in a McDonald's. He don't eat like that. See, we don't hate white people or nobody, so don't take my talk wrong. Once we learn ourselves, get a knowledge of ourselves, we're designed to be with self. Since the Negro don't know himself, then he's want to be with everybody but his own, because he don't know where to go. But once he learns himself, he's happy with a black lady. He's happy hearing James Brown. Good God, I can't stand it, baby. Good God, mama. Yeah, so once you know yourself. So I'm happy because I know myself. We don't want no trouble. We just want to be with each other. Like I went to a restaurant the other day and I heard a record say, when that train comes around that mountain, toot, toot, when that train. And the white boys is clapping. It wasn't my kind of music. We like songs like, oh, baby, don't leave. Oh, woman, I can't eat or sleep. See,
you're going to make a record soon, too.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, everybody got his own cone, his own culture. And white and black will get along fine as long as the black have some land, we can trade with everybody, and do for itself. This is my program, not phony integration.
Yeah, I know recently at the Savior's Day in Chicago, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was honored, I would imagine, by, of all people, Mayor Daley. And I understand that was a magnificent turnout of people, testimonial to this.
Chicago recognized our leader. We've had images of been violent and been hate teachers. We search each other for meetings. We can't carry weapons. That's why I couldn't go to the army. We're peaceful people. Muslim only means one who submits entirely to God's will. Islam means peace. Followers are called Muslims. Muslim means a humble, righteous person. No trouble. And so the Gamel and people are realizing now We're not those people like in Los Angeles shooting it out with everybody and mad and going to kill. That's their right. I can't blame them for dying for what they believe. But we're peaceful. And the government is starting to realize, and Muslims are getting more respect now. We're getting better jobs. And the government and some people are influencing people to hear the Muslims. Because Elijah Muhammad is helping to stop dope. That's helping America. Yeah. He's taking gangsters off the street. That's helping America. He's stopping the prostitutes. That's helping the people. So he's helping clean up America. So this is why I'm with him. I'm Muhammad Ali. Where I can't go and not be recognized today, face it, anywhere in the world. Yeah, okay. So I choose to take my fame to help my brothers in Louisville and the world. I can't give them money because I don't have billions of dollars. It takes billions. But if we unite, if we can get the right thing in our minds, it's worth more than money. So I use my fame for what it's worth and tell them the truth. When I first heard this kind of talk at Central High School in Louisville, I had to join it. So there might be some more brothers watching this show that like this, say, I mean, I want to hear more of that. That's what I've been looking for.
What about the relationship of the Muslims to Africa, to black Africa? Are there any kinds of pilgrimages, for example, being made to search for, you know, your past?
Well, Colonel Gaddafi, I was with him a couple of months ago, the brother who's the ruler of Libya. His income is $100 million a day, give you an idea who he is. He's black, he's a Muslim, and his yeah, he gave me 100 scholarships to give to the Muslims from America, and we deal with Africa. We contact constantly. We write about our problems and our good in our Muhammad Speak papers, which is throughout the country, million strong every week, and most countries that I'm recognized in Africa, we go to, are the Islamic. Some of them are still Christians, some are different religions, but mainly countries like Egypt, we are real popular with. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Indonesia, Algeria, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey. These are the parts of Africa that we mostly trade with, the Islamic countries. And the other, Nairobi, Zambia, Kenya, Afghanistan, these countries we deal with, Morocco with, some of Ethiopia. We constantly in contact with them, and we news reporters. We trade news and goods and ideas, and students come, they visit our religious mosques whenever they're in America, the Muslims from those countries. And, but we don't deal too much with them in the way of looking to help them or they help us. We're mainly concentrating on God blesses a child that has his own. Charity first started home first. So we keep our minds more in America more than Africa.
Yeah. Well, Muhammad, I'd like to certainly thank you for coming by, conversing with us. And you've often said that you are the greatest.
No.
And I'm here to agree with you.
No,
we think you are the
greatest. We all the greatest. All
but in terms of a prize fighter, certainly, you know, you have to rank in history as one of the greats. But I think also in terms of
just
a man.
I always remember I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Whenever I fight, when I be in Africa before 2 billion people, which is 10 times bigger than America, they will say, in this corner, weighing 113 pounds from Louisville, Kentucky, with 120,000 all over the world, Muhammad Ali. I always love to hear that, Louisville, Kentucky. You always hear that. I don't care where I live, you can always hear Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. I want to thank you for joining us, man, on Black Ears.
And you're not as dumb as you look.
You're not as beautiful as you look.